Biblically vessel, Tavex. The reason why I'm doing this, I'm trying to show you the little ribbon, and that says Tav on it. Sorry, I can't see it. Move this fan a little bit. On deck. Listen, you typed to me, listen, every knee bow. Listen, I made a video a few minutes ago. I don't know if you were on that video. Tav X, period of becoming one. Biblically, was 10 people on. True Seeker, Tav X. YouTube plays around. I can't see everybody. I can't read all the comments. I can't do stuff because we got a devil. It works 24/7. In every aspect of everything almost. So, excuse me, I was saying only 4 people were on or whatever, but I can't see. I can't see no more. But anyway, I'm glad you are on. Let's wait. Tav X, purity becoming one. You know why I say purity. Tav X. X is the 400 numeric value of the Phoenician Hebrew alphabet, Hebraic alphabet. It means purity becoming one. When you read Hosea 8, he tells how bad Israel is. Then the Most High's question to Israel is Israel capable of purity? Then the next thing out of his mouth to the prophet is, go back to Egypt. That means go back to slavery because you're not pure. That's why I say peace unto you. But I want to emphasize Tav X. Purity and becoming one. His question that he asks you is, are you pure? Are you striving to be pure? And you can't be pure, but you can strive to try. You don't want to do nothing because a lot of you are lazy. Convex. Remember, stop copying everybody. Yeah, but the camps all say shalom. I say peace unto everybody in the beginning of the video. We don't have to be like everybody else. He don't want us to be like everybody else. And this video is about that. If you were being like everybody else, you were going to be tricked too. That's why you need to be on the path that the Most High leads you. Stop leading yourself. And the way he leads you is you seek ye the book of the Most High and read, and none of these things shall fail. If you read this word, then you know which direction to go into. They ain't going to be doing a shell game on you. You're going to heed the scriptures. You're going to heed some of the men and women the Most High bring to your life to tell you, hey, be cautious of that. Be cautious of this or that. Look for this. Research this. Those words are not going to fall on deaf ears. They're going to actually do it. So you won't be tricked. The majority of the whole world is tricked, but a small little portion. Nuhata Vex, purity becoming one. Yeah, we dealing with a devil. Stay busy. He's doing too much. I guess that's what devils do. They do too much. So, we're going to get all this stuff from these guys. So let's wait a few more minutes. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And wait a couple minutes. I only see biblically vesticle, every knee shall bow, true seeker, young king, and a new house. We got 5. They said there was 10 in the house. So let's give a few minutes and then I start because you guys need to hear this. As I said in the last video I just did a couple minutes ago, even though you have to save yourself by your own righteousness, he gives us a command by the major prophet Ezekiel chapter 3 to warn them. But you need something to warn them. Yeah, I only see 5 too. Okay, so we're going to give like another 2 minutes. Nobody else comes in and it's 5. That's it. But you need something to warn the people. Because I'm going to tell you, not you guys, but if, just a regular Torah Israelite walk up to them, even, a Messianic, he will walk up to them camp guys. They know more than you. So they're going to be able to smash you in the ground. You see, I trust, I don't fear, I trust. Isaiah 54, where it says, you be free from oppression, do not fear. No harm can come to you unless I consent to it. Any harm comes to you, they'll fall because of you. I make the instruments of havoc. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Any tongue contesting the law with you will be defeated because of me. Remember Isaiah 54. Trust that. I trust it. That's why I can tell you with confidence. I can tell you with confidence. Let a Messianic come to my channel. Say something sideways. Or try to go, that. Because I trust in the Most High's decree. Isaiah 54. Any tongue contesting the law with you will be defeated because of me, the Most High said. So I trust that. He's given me the equipment, the desire to study, to memorize this stuff, and I trust in it. And their New Testament is so weak and so frail. And you know it's frail if you study. You don't know it's frail if you don't study. You think it's almost there, probably. It's not. You're going to find out today. And I'm going to tell you on this video, you Christians and you Messianic Hebrews, you got the shell game put on you by your adversary who tricked you to be an enemy of the Most High. You guys are an enemy of the Most High. Exodus 22. For if anybody sacrifice to any other God, save the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're going to be proscribed. You're going to be utterly wasted. And you do. You have a different Savior, different God, different law, and everything. Oh, yeah, we keep it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Can't get under the first 3 commandments. You don't keep it. Here at Hebrew on the Island, I'm telling you, you don't keep it. All right, we're at 7 minutes, we're going to start. Okay, listen, this is how they're tricked. This is how the Christians and Messianics is tricked. And this is how you can get tricked. That's why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I tell you time and time again, when you got this New Testament or this KJV, I have it in Spanish. It's the KJV Santa Biblia. It has the English and Spanish in it. You can be tricked easy because they try to paint. And they don't even try. They try to paint the fake JC guy, the bloody guy on the cross in here. Even though he's not there, his name is not there. But when you listen to church pastors and ministers and evangelists, deacons, you listen to Messianic Hebrew teachers, so-called priests, and whatever, mores or whatever, they trick you. You know, the law says in Deuteronomy 4, don't add or take away. You curse, you add and taken away. Deuteronomy chapter 4, they do it all day. This is how you're being tricked. That's why I encourage you, use the Tanakh. It's the closest. They lie to you. They lie to you and tell you. They lie to you and tell you, oh, the King James Version is close to the Hebrew. No, it's not. It's transliterations and translations of translations. Closest is the Tanakh version of the scriptures. And only scriptures is what they call the Old Testament. There's no Old Testament. They tagged it that way so they can make a New Testament. Demons. It's just the only testament is the Tanakh, consisting of the Torah, the law, Nevi'im, prophets, Ketuvim, the writings. That's it. Guys, stop trying to be in all other books because you don't have this book, but you want to read 12,000 other books. The fundamentals is important. If you know fundamentals in boxing, you ain't gonna get knocked out, most likely. You don't know fundamentals, you're gonna get knocked out. So again, I implore you guys, anything major, they have some things in there that's okay. But remember, lies with truth is a lie. Don't count on it. And that's how Christians and Messianics are tricked the shell game on it. They don't know which one to pick. But here at Hebrew on the Island too, I'm trying to expose where the ball is in the shell so they can see. Stop being tricked. Stop being stiff-necked. Stop being a witch and warlock. Rebellion is as witchcraft. A lot of you Christians and Messianic, you're not going to watch this video. Or when you do, you're going to turn it off quickly because you're a warlock. And you're going to get your just desserts in the end. And the end is coming. The time is passing by quick. All right, let me get right to it. This is how they trick. Number one, you know they put Isaiah 22, Psalm 22. Dogs have compassion. Evil men have encompassed me. They pierce my hands and feet. It doesn't say that. It says pierce in the KJV, but they mistranslate the word Kari. K-R-Y, K-R-I, Kari. I think it's H. This is not in my notes, but I'm going with my 8s. I think 8738. It means like a lion. Look it up. You read Isaiah 38, and Hezekiah says, like a lion breaking my bones, I cried until the morning. You look that word, breaking bones, is Kari. That's what it means. They lie. That's why I tell you, don't rely on the KJV. They try to paint that fake JC in there all the time. And they don't even put his name. The Christians and whatever say, oh, no, that's false. The only one pierced and stabbed is him. So, lies. When will you wake up out of your nightmare, Christian and Messianic? You're going to the volcano. You better get some summer clothes because it's going to be hot, very hot. It's mistranslations, like when they read Isaiah 7:14, and a virgin shall be with child, she shall bring forth the son, his name shall be Emmanuel, God with us. See, the only virgin story I know is that fake JC guy on the cross that's bleeding. It's talking about him. See, they add him to the scripture. No, it's not. It's talking about King Ahaz. King Ahaz has a son. It's King Hezekiah. Talking about him. Stop thinking the word virgin means no sex. Virgin, when it deals with the woman, can just be a young woman that's married. Can be just a young woman. They call all young women back in the day virgins. And virgin means a woman that don't have sex. It means a couple things. You guys are one-dimensional. You don't exegesis. You don't study. You don't go anything in depth. And you just listen. You just go to Christian pep rally, Messianic pep rallies. That's what you're doing. Isaiah 34, seek ye out of the book of the Most High and read. None of these things will fail. It fails you because you don't read, you don't pray, you have another Savior, you have another God, you don't trust in the Most High, you can't keep at it, can't even get out of the first 3 commandments. And you go into the volcano on an electric scooter without brakes. The one that I got that goes pretty fast, and you'll get hurt. Psalm 34. None of his bones were broken. Oh, that's talking about JC. No, it's not, you demon. Talking about King David. Keep reading. Daniel chapter 9. And the Messiah shall be cut off. Oh, that's talking about JC. No, it's not. It's talking about King Cyrus, the heathen, who was given dark powers for listening to the Most High to rebuild Jerusalem. Don't say, oh, well, he's a heathen. How's he? Some of you guys think he's an Israelite. No, he's not. King Cyrus is a Persian, or he's a Persian king. Babylonian king, Persian, whatever it's to. He's a heathen. Most High, Proverbs 16, Most High made everything for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. You can't tell the Most High. Isaiah 45, how dare you say the Most High can't use heathens for building Jerusalem up or walls up. Shut up. You don't know nothing about scripture. You're offensive to the Most High. He made everything for himself. He made everything visible and invisible. He uses everything the way he wants. Shut your mouth. Daniel 9. The Messiah will be cut off. I was talking about, no, it's not. Let me bring you to this one. Zechariah chapter 12. This real talk. Vex, I just made, I don't know if you were on my last video. I made a video about 10 minutes ago talking about fearing. Watch it. So there's 2 videos for today. You missed my first video, watch it when I upload. And whatever you missed in this one, watch it when I upload it. Vex, period, becoming one. So they fooled them with the Zechariah 12. When I was a Messianic, these are things that held me. When I read Zechariah 12, I'm like, well, who are they talking about? Because my eyes weren't fully open. He didn't feel that my eyes should be fully open at that time. But I'm going to reveal it to you. In Ezekiel 3, he tells us, me, you, to warn them. Not to convince them, just warn them. A lot of them are witches and warlocks. They ain't going to listen. It's not our job to convince them. Because believe it or not, when you read Jeremiah 50, the Most High says in Jeremiah 50, he says, I choose who I will allow to survive. So you gotta come to grips with it. Wrap your arms around it. He hasn't chosen everybody. He's not going to choose everybody. He's going to keep their minds blinded. Their eyes closed, their ears closed. Isaiah 60 says, go dull their minds. They ain't going to hear it. So your job is not to convince, just to tell. These warnings is going to be a strike against them for not listening. So Zechariah 12 was one back in the day that made me like, should I switch? Because, Zechariah says something in Zechariah 12:10, and I don't know, but I know it now. You're tricked. Get out of the KJV. Like when you read, what is it? I think, where is it? Oh, Exodus, I think it's Exodus 13, or Exodus 12. He says, I'm a man of war. Don't get me on the chapter. I forgot it. It slipped my mind. All the camps saying, the Most High is a man of war. But when you read it out of the Tanakh, he says, the Lord, the warrior, the Lord is his name. That's why I keep telling you, don't read, Most High is not a man. If you're not strong, don't read the KJV. You're going to get tricked. I know a lot of places it's okay, but a lot of places it's a trick. You try to infer that fake JC guy. And a lot of you in this latter Jacob trouble time, it's going to be teeter-tottering on the fence, on top of the fence. You're going to fall off on the wrong side and go to the volcano in the end. So don't do it. Take this video. Warn them. Tell them. Now let's watch. I'm going to show you a perfect example how Christians and Messianics are tricked by their leaders saying, oh, look at Zechariah 12:10. I think it's 12:10. I'm going to read just a couple verses in there. And I'm going to read it out of the KJV. This is a Spanish and English version, but it's a KJV. I'm going to read it out of there, not in Spanish. My Spanish is terrible. My Spanish is terrible. That's terrible. So I'm going to read it, and you're going to see the difference. That's why I tell you, I've been telling you on this channel, stop reading the KJV. Read the Tanakh version of the Old Testament. It's not an Old Testament. It's only the Testament. They said Old Testament so they can make a New Testament and fool you and trick you. Now listen to it in the tricked version of the scriptures, which is called the KJV in a lot of sections, in a lot of areas. This is how Christians and Messianics are fooled, tricked into believing about a fake JC on the cross, having the Most High be their adversaries, being people of the Most High that are on the outside of the sanctuary that can't get out of the first 3 commandments. And you should know the first 3 commandments, right? Zechariah chapter 12 in the KJV. Remember, this is in Spanish and in English. Zechariah 12. Let me read all the way down because it's short, right? And then in the New Testament, in the Tanakh, I just get right to it. All right, this ain't Christian church. Don't be afraid. And I'm gonna read it out of the KJV because all of this is okay, good, except for that verse 10 that they're trying to trick you, or the church or the Messianic camps will trick you in that verse. But then when we read it in the Tanakh, it's going to say something totally different. That's why I implore you to use the Tanakh when you're studying and reading. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 1. And Zechariah 12 is an end time chapter, so that's why I'm going to read the whole thing. Because we're living in the end times or going into the end times. So this is a good chapter for that. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth and formed the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling to all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day, days that were approaching, and in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. All the people are against us. No kumbaya. In that day, said the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment and his rider with madness, and I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in the Lord of hosts, their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheath. And they shall devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be an inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and that the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as it says gods, but it's divine ones, devotees, as the angel of the Lord before him. And it shall come to pass in that day, now listen, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. All the nations are going to come against us at the end. They're against us all now. Now listen to verse 10. This is where all the Christians and Messianics get tricked. And I want you to reveal the trick that they've been tricked upon to them. Which warning, don't convince them. Most High, remember, Jeremiah 50, he says, I will choose who I will allow to survive. So you don't have to worry about that. Just warn them. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication. And they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for her only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. They will look upon me as pierced. The Christians and Messianics are doing it again. The only one I know in history that's been pierced is the JC, bloody guy on the cross. I got to believe in him. Yeah, go ahead. You're serving another God, small g, sacrificing unto another God, small bloody guy on the cross. You're saying you're not, but your own fake New Testament says, and the Word became flesh, and the Word was God, with God, and was God. You call JC God, you demons. This is why you're tricked. And in Zechariah 12:10, they use that, because they use the part that says, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. What comes to mind? Remember, you're in a matrix. Everything's programmed. They either program that JC movie, forgot the name of it, but the JC Easter movie. So in your mind, the only one that was pierced was that. That's to trick you, to fool you, to walk away from the Most High. Now we read it in the KJV. That's why I keep telling you, yo, watch this. You're gonna get tricked in here, especially that you don't read and study that much. You're gonna get tricked. Yeah, Hebrew on Island 2, I want to untrick you. So let's read Zechariah chapter 12, verse 9 and 10 in the Tanakh. This is why I tell you, this is closest to the Hebrew. concentrate on this. You're going to get tricked in that other book in places. You're going to get tricked because another place is going to be, oh, it's okay. It reads kind of good. But then your mind is so dulled out, you're so stuck in the biblical matrix that they made for you, you're going to say, oh, Pierce, that's JC. Let me run back to the cross. That's what's going to happen. I'm trying to warn you here at Hebron Island too. Your job is just to warn them, that's all. Zechariah 12, verse 9 and 10 in the Tanakh. In that day, I will all but annihilate all the nations that came up against Jerusalem. But I will fill the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem with a spirit of pity and compassion, and they shall lament to me about those who are slain, wailing over them as over a favorite son, and showing bitter grief as over a firstborn. In that day, the wailing in Jerusalem shall be as great as the wailing at Hadad Ramon in the plains of Megiddo. The land shall wail, each family by itself, the family of the house of David by themselves, and their women folk by themselves. On and on. It doesn't say anything about they will look upon me who they pierced. I'm telling you, stop. That's why they'll come on. Yeah, let's read Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. Tell me who was pierced in world history. And you ask that to the new Yeshua Israel, Hebron Island too. I will tell you, not that fake JC guy, because he's fake. He's really Satan, Abaddon. He's that. You've been tricked. You've been bamboozled. They put the shell game on you. Because when you read the Tanakh, which is really that they call the Old Testament, doesn't read that at all. That's why I tell you guys, get out of here. This KJV and all them other versions. Stop trying to read every other book too. They got tricks in there. They got the shell game going in there. They got some good stuff. Oh yeah, I remember this. But then they're going to trick you with a shell game and you're going to go right in it because you've been programmed to. And you won't listen to me. This is the more reliable one, the Tanakh. Let me read it again. In the Tanakh, Zechariah 12, verse 9 and 10. In that day I will all but annihilate all the nations that came up against Jerusalem. But I will fill the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem with a spirit of pity and compassion. And they shall lament to me about those who are slain, wailing over them as over a favorite son, and showing bitter grief as over a firstborn. In that day, the wailing in Jerusalem shall be as great as wailing at Hadad Rim in the plains of Megiddo. Doesn't say anything. They will look upon me whom they pierced. That's a trick. That's a shell game. This is how the Christians and the Messianics are tricked. It says in Psalm 28, I always mention it to Anuha, strong soldier in the Most High. It's not words, it's actions. Say this to her and you a lot too. Psalm 28. Evil men understand not the judgments of the Most High, but those that seek the Most High understand all things. So when you read Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10, you're going to know because you already know all things, the most important things. You know all things of all the most important things. It's not the stock market, Bitcoin, flipping houses, flipping cars, and dropping it like it's hot. That's not all things that I'm referring to. All things is the stuff in here, wisdom. You're going to know that in Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10, in that KJV, they're adding shit. That's why I'm telling you, don't use it. I implore you, don't use that. Especially if your ground is not, foundation is shaky. Rely on the Tanakh. So the shell game, the trick don't come on you. TVET, you missed a lot. I don't know if you were in it before. If you just came on, watch it when I upload it. But I made another video. I don't know if you were on that video. I made about fear and trust. You need to watch that also. So I made 2 videos today. When I upload this one, watch both of them. And everybody, watch them again. Take notes. My videos are my notes. You want to grow. This is the time not to play around. This is a time to trust and not fear. And I say that in that video. Let me read a couple comments, and then we'll call it quits. See, this wasn't long, so you can get back to your life that you're doing. Anything that does not align with scripture should be challenged and investigated. Correct. Truth seeker. What's good, my people? Act star. I'm glad you made it on live chat. Real talk. Remember, go to my other video. Whatever you missed, watch this video when I upload it. But I made a video about 30 minutes before this video. Watch that one. It's about trust and fear. Real talk. I'm happy to see you. Tav X. You. Passion. Wait, yep. Thank you, Biblically Vestico. Yeah, that was the movie they're going to trick you with. They made that movie. Oh, everybody's crying back in the day when they made it. I'm crying too. I'm like, oh. Imprints in your mind. In your mind, you know you could ask anybody almost in the world, almost, who is Pearson? They're going to say JC, bloody guy on the cross. You know, it's part of your program. So that you won't read this, you rely on this one. All right, let's start growing. Rasta Hill, I don't know if you just came on, watch what you missed. And I made another video about 30 minutes before that. Watch both of the videos when I upload it. Use it. Book of Daniel takes place in Times Square. All right, so you are correct, because I have to share with those who are not rooted, using these scriptures and being confused, not knowing what not to keep. Correct? Hold on. Knowing not to keep and what to throw out, not understanding these demons. Correct. So these were two short videos. These were like 30-minute videos. Hopefully they were edifying. This is a new Yes from Israel, Hebrew on Island 2, Tav X, purity and becoming one. Strive to be pure. Don't play around. Make sure you watch that video again that I made earlier about trust and fear. Look what time we live in. This new Yes from Israel, Hebrew on Island 2. Until next time.